All right. Welcome to the Grandmaster Glassway guide for Season 18, Season of the Plunder. The goal of this video is to go over the strategy to complete the Grandmaster. This will be a very in-depth guide compared to what you've probably seen from other content creators. The goal is to go over every single room, strategy, how to use ammo, where to use supers for every room, start to finish, from when you load in and pop your Sparrow all the way until Belmont dies. So we're going to be pausing and going over points throughout the strike where, we could talk about how to make the rooms easier, quicker, more efficient, how to stay alive, and stuff like that. So I'll do a lot of pausing and talking over the gameplay. This video is pulled right from my VOD on Twitch. I mostly stream. I don't really create YouTube content very often, but I've been asked to make these guides, so that's what I am doing now. If I make any mistakes, I will pin them in the comments because these videos could end up being very long. The runs are over 20 minutes or at least usually. Anyways, that's just without me pausing. So with me pausing and talking over it, these videos could be pretty long. So going back and editing these videos would take far too long. So I am not going to do that. And if I stutter, I'm sorry. This is not scripted. It's going right off the cuff. So first, this video will not really go over loadouts too much. That's not really what these videos are about. I'll go over just some quick things that I would recommend. But starting with, it is Overload and Barrier Champs. Overload, of course, you have Bows this season. We have Arc, Overload, Nades. You now have Le Monarch, Divinity. Every strategy, every team I've seen uses different things. Some people love Div and then using snipers on them and linears. Some teams like spamming rockets. Some people just use bows and spam storm grenades. It's really up to you. But I will show you what my team uses. So if you want to copy these loadouts, you're more than welcome to. So we had one Warlock running anti-barrier sniper with a overload bow. Le Monarch is really good on this GM because it one-shots the red bars and it is void burn. So Le Monarch deals 25% more damage, and the poison tick restuns the overload, keeping them basically permanently stunned so they can never heal. And then in my team, I like to use rockets on Glassway. I myself run Galley, and I have my two teammates run void rockets for the void burn. Rockets are awesome. You just don't want to run Lasting Impression as a rocket perk because you really don't want that delayed explosion. You don't want to stick a champion and then the barrier champ pops his shield and then the rocket blows up. Of course, now the rocket does actually nothing. So it doesn't really matter the rocket rolls too much. Of course, you have good perks like Vorpal or Explosive Light if you're able to make orbs for yourself. But as long as it just doesn't have Lasting Impression, really any rocket works. And then he's running the grenade spam build with Starfire Protocol on a well lock. And then I had my friend Josh here. He's running a Titan just like me. Again, anti-barrier sniper, Le Monarch with a void rocket. And he's doing the Heart of Inmost Light Arc storm grenade spam with overload nades. This build is absolutely insane. If you're a Titan, I highly recommend going with this path. Loralee, Sunbreak would probably be the second best option, but these storm grenades are so insane that it's just even though this class has no survivability, no healing or anything, not much defense, it's just so much raw offense that it doesn't even give the enemies a chance to even kill you because they're already dead because that's how much the storm grenades do. If you are playing a Warlock, obviously this is a good build, but honestly, probably the best build would actually be doing Stasis with the turrets. And I'll show you once we get to the boss room eventually later in the video why the turrets are so insanely strong. So Warlock, I would either do well. You could panic pop and you got the fusion dates, and then Stasis you have the turrets, and then like I said, Arc you got Solar for Lorelei survivability, and then the Arc build, and then I do the same build, and this is my build. In Glassway, I would highly recommend someone running a blinded grenade launcher. That's what I have this ignition code for. You can blind the Wyverns. The Wyverns are insanely annoying. They can basically one-shot you. Even with 100 resilience and void resist mods, is if the entire blast of the Wyvern hits you, you're dead basically, and you'll be very lucky to survive. So you can blind them. And in the boss room, the small mini boss, because you have the big boss Belmont, and then you have that small Hydra that likes to follow you, you can blind him too. So that's why the blind nades are really good. I use the Arc Scout for the couple Arc shields, and then of course Galley. There are a couple solar shields in the strike. There's only 3. So I wouldn't necessarily worry about bringing solar damage. You could pretty much just brute force them, or if you have one player on Arbalist for the barrier champs, of course, you could just pop the solar shields in a single shot. And in the boss room, there's just a couple Arc shields. I think there's 8 Harpy shields. So that's why I have the Arc Scout for, so yeah. And then going over the modifiers again, while we load in, again, Void Burn, Overloaded Barrier Champs. And that's basically it. Arc and solar shields, and then other than that, it's all the standard Grandmaster modifiers like Extinguish and Mob and all the stuff that we're used to. And I'll skip ahead until we load in. Of course, you're going to want to sparrow through like you normally would. The flips are extra. And then first things first, you'll be greeted with a group of ads right here. Nothing really too crazy. You get a couple marauders that might push you some shanks. And of course, there's an overload. The storm nades just kind of kill everything. Doesn't really give you a chance to really see much, but it's a small wave. Nothing really too crazy. You want to kill the overload. You know, just keep bowing him and throwing your storm nades if you're on arc titans and stuff. Push up, you have some shanks. Watch out for the snipers here. But again, if you have like Le Monarch, it just basically just one-shots them because of the exotic buff to red bars, and then of course it's void burn. So this is why I like Le Monarch so much. A couple shanks drop down from the ceiling. No, nothing crazy. Keep pushing forward. Watch out for the mines. That's another modifier on the strike. Some of the vandals will drop mines. And this is a point I want to talk about. A lot of people don't know this about these first couple rooms, but in these first rooms, you get two major waves. The first wave, you get some ads with an overload captain. Once you push forward enough into the room, you get the second wave, which is more just generic fallen ads with a barrier servitor. In all of these rooms, you do not want to push in too far. You want to deal with the overload first. Once you have killed the overload, then push further into the room. If you push too far, you'll spawn the barrier, and then of course, what does a barrier servitor do? He tethers the fallen around him. So then what's going to happen is the fallen barrier champ is just going to tether that overload captain, and then it just slows you down. So right here at this ledge right here, my mouse is, you generally just don't want to fall down here. That will spawn the second wave. So you'll see us just stand here, and we deal with the overload. He drops down right behind this part always, and then there he is. He always spawns right there. The wretches will kind of push you a little bit. They're just wretches. I mean, they're easy to deal with. If they jump up, you just punch them or whatever. See, we kill the overload, then you drop down. And then the barrier always drops down right there. You can kind of see where the tip of my weapon is. He drops down right there. And you'll deal with him. A lot easier this way than dealing with both champs at the same time. And the barrier, of course, tethering the overload. It's not very fun. Once you've killed all the enemies, door goes down, push forward. And again, works the same way in this room. You generally don't want to pass by like this large rock where Thule is right here. This is pretty much as far as you want to go. Works the same way. You get some, generic ads like Fallen and whatnot, like just vandals and stuff. You get the overload captain, and you'll have the first stasis boss. You just want to stay back here. You can throw your grenades and just shoot, your snipers and arbalists, and throw your, storm nades, and shoot your bows with the overload to keep them stunned, and deal with them. The order that you kill these guys in doesn't really matter. You can kill the overload or the boss first. Surprised Thule actually Thunder Crashed there. Didn't even spawn the second wave. That was very close. But we'll deal with the overload, and then you also want to deal with the boss. When the barrier servitor comes in, he will tether the boss too. So it's nice to kill the boss and the overload. There's no rush because you're not spawning the wave. So if you want to just sit back and just pick him off with primary, there's no rush. So we kill him. And now that he's dead, we will now push forward. Right there where I'm shooting, the reason I'm shooting this is because when this next wave spawns, there's actually a door up there, and a huge amount of ads come out, like dregs and vandals. So what I do is, I already know that they're going to spawn there. So once you push forward and you hear that siren, I pre-threw my nade, and it just kills basically the entire wave. Pretty much. I'm actually surprised the ads even got out there. But either way, they were jolted, so they're just going to die. Barrier drops down, and you basically just deal with them now. And again, just watch out for the mines that the vandals drop when they die. And then we're going to push forward. And the siren indicates the wave is spawning. Now here, it's kind of up to you what you want to do. You can jump across like I just did and stand here. That's fine. Or you can pretty much just stay right here. Right in front of this little rock here. Both are fine. So jumping across over here is about the same. Doesn't really matter, honestly. But then the line you don't want to cross to spawn the barrier wave again. You don't want to pass this rock. Or on the right, you don't want to pass the large pillar that comes down from the ceiling. And again, same theme. You have the overload and you have the boss. Again, you want to deal with both. And this is my bad right here. I made a mistake. I should have healed first before I went for the res, but it's all good. These bosses, this boss especially does throw those dust field nades, which can be pretty annoying. He'll wait till he's full health, and then he'll just go. And this is why Well of Radiance to be pretty good, because if you're in a pinch like this, you can just always pop a well and just get free reses. Continue dealing with the overload and boss as you would normally. Don't push up until you've killed both, because you don't want to spawn the servitor to tether everything. It's just not very fun. It will slow you down by a lot. Again, just keep watching out for the mines as usual. No rush, because like I said, not spotting the other wave, so if you want to just sit back and just bow and throw nades, you don't have to really waste any rockets or anything on these guys. The boss just sits out in the open, just lets you shoot him. Now that he's dead, then I push forward, and then now you get the second wave. I just super, because I get my super so often with the storm grenades and the Ashes to Assets helmet mod, so I just end up supering there just to save some time. Kills most of the ads, then you just finish off the servitor. I just finish him to save some time. I'm not running Aeons or anything, but I just did that to save a couple seconds. Push forward, get a couple strikes here, nothing crazy. Easy to deal with. You just kill them and push forward.
Elizabeth, you must know why Clovis built the portal.
Obsession. The list is long. If you asked him, he would have told you he was saving humanity. Collecting the radiolarium fluid from the Vex that came through was the prime purpose. I wanted it shut down. Clovis wouldn't have it. Once again, he flew too close to the sun, and once again, the rest of us paid for it.
And then we got a couple dregs and, you know, a couple shanks to spawn. Nothing really crazy. This part's very, very easy. I throw a nade over there because I know that once you push up far enough, a couple Vandals like to spawn back there, and they have the snipers, so I kind of just pre-naded them because I already knew they were going to spawn there. And I got the jolt applied to them from my grenades, so they die pretty easily. Again, you don't have to waste any ammo here. You could just kind of pick everything off with primary. They're just red bar ads. There's nothing serious. You get one overload captain. The captain sometimes will stand here, or he'll be down here on this lower platform. Either way is fine. And then, of course, you got the Vandals. Just pick them off before you move forward. Watch out for the mines as you jump across here. You don't want to get slowed like as you're like mid-jump, so. And you'll just fall into the pit and die. You'll just fall. And then you get the captain that spawns on the right side. You're going to want to grenade him. Or stun him, whatever, and just deal with him. Like normal, this is why the grenade build with Titans is so insane. I mean, the Storm Grenade does more damage than Super. Like the Thunder Crash without Falling Star. Like, they're just so insanely stupid how good they are. And this gem is not even Arc Burn, so it's not even getting any bonus damage. Like it would in all the other GMs this season. So far up to this point, the strike is fairly, you know, easy or to medium difficulty. Not really much happens. Most teams don't really struggle with those parts, but I figured I'd go over them anyways to make them easier. Now, for the plate, you may or may not know, the plate actually does not progress faster with more players. Meaning there's no reason to have more than one player. You could just have one player control the plate, and the other two teammates can just chill in the back. When you're on the plate, you will get 6 waves. The first wave will come from the left. That's why I pre-naded it. You'll get some shanks, and you'll get a heavy shank. This is one of the 3 solar shields I was talking about. You can either just shoot, like, you know, something solar out if you have any solar damage, like Galley or something, or you could just kind of shoot an Arbalist or just brute force the shield. And then you always get the same exact wave that just spawns on the other side. So then you get the shanks and the solar shield, the shank from the right side. The waves are always, like, matching. Like, you get the same wave left and right, and then left, right, and then left, right. So now again, the wave will spawn on left. But this wave is Shanks, and you'll get 2 Sniper Vandals, and they like to sit up top right here. So again, I look up, and I actually just pre-nade them because I already know they're going to be there. And the grenade kills them. Some Shanks drop down. I make sure they're dead, then I push up at 50%. You get the exact same wave, but from the right side. Again, 2 Vandals. I know they're going to be right up there again with the Shanks, because the waves are always the same back to back. And then again, 2 more waves. You got the left wave again, and then the right wave. These last 2 waves are all 3 Shank types. So you got regular Shanks, you got the explosive Shanks, and you have the Tracer, the Sniper Shanks. So left and then right. Basically, all you have to do with this plate is you just stand on it, and once you feel any sort of pressure, back up. You can deal with the wave. Once everything is dead, push up. Stand on the plate, you feel some pressure, you back up, and you just keep doing this theme over and over again. The faster you kill them, the longer you can stand on the plate. But again, there's no rush here. If you're getting hit a lot, then just spawn 1 wave at a time. If you think you can tank multiple waves, then just, keep standing on it. You can spawn 2, 3 waves at once if you feel like it. That's kind of up to you. And then here you get 1 overload, couple dregs and whatnot, nothing crazy. And then this is that's the last solar shield right there. So now you've already seen all 3 solar. It's just all heavy Shanks during this room. And then you get the barrier servitor that drops down. I would not worry too much about him yet. The most dangerous thing in this part, once you're pushing to the boss room, is the snipers on the top. Like that guy I'm shooting at. They will also sit on the top left. You can see him up there where my mouse is, up in the top left. And these top right catwalks, they are much more dangerous. Even though it is not Arcburn, these are still Grandmaster Vandals. So they definitely are. If the barrier pushes up like this and you think you could take care of them pretty quickly, then you're more than welcome to do that. But you definitely need to worry about the Vandals. They definitely hurt. But my teammates with their Le Monarchs just pick them off 1 by 1 because Le Monarch will just 1-tap them in the head. Entering boss room, we get a couple little ads with the 1 overload. If you end up following this strat, if you do the galley with the rockets, you generally don't want to use too many rockets throughout the strike. You'll notice I really didn't fire that many, neither did my teammates. The more rockets you enter the boss room with, the better, and obviously it'd be the same with linears. Now, when you first kill that wave and you get the overload, I'll even go back, you'll see I actually push the left. See, the overload dies, and I tell my team to come with me, and we will go to the left. One thing you can actually do is spawn kill an overload here. The theme of this fight is just to remember that everything spawns in pairs. Pairs of 2. When overloads spawn, it's 2. When wyverns spawn, it's 2. Everything is in 2s. Even the barrier hobgoblins, everything is in 2s. So they always spawn out of the portals. The portal on the left and the portal on the right, you'll each get 1. So when the boss fight first starts, you'll get, those standard Vex ads, and you will get the 2 overloads. And of course, there's a portal. So if you sit in this left hallway, what you can do is, as soon as the overload comes out, you can just stun. And if you're doing the rocket strat, you could all just shoot 1 rocket, and the overload dies. Especially to like grenades and like the poison tick of Le Monarch and 1 rocket each. It easily kills the overload. Now, the room is much easier because you only have 1 overload remaining. Now, this is where I start using the blinding ignition code much more often. This Hydra can be blinded. One of the most important parts of this fight is to not damage him too quickly. What spawns the next wave is damaging the mini Hydra too much. But instead, I'm just going to keep him blinded so he will not harass us in the room. If you didn't know, Hydra shields, the rotating shield around him, is technically considered part of his body. Meaning I can even just hit his shield with my GL, it will still blind him anyways. And you'll see me do that a lot. Now, of course, you have the 1 overload coming. Again, I'm just blinding the Hydra, so we only deal with the champion. And again, I just keep hitting him every so often, and he just won't attack us, so he just kind of walks around aimlessly, and this gives you plenty of time for you to triple team just one champion. Once you've killed the 2 overloads, now it's time to hit the mini Hydra to spawn the next wave. We just use Thunder Crashes because, you know, just to speed it up. You know, you can just keep throwing grenades on him. Remember, with Arbalest, and if you use Anti-Barrier Sniper, you can shoot through his shield. So you can speed up the damage if you have a lot of ammo. And then you get the next wave. You get the 2 overloads again. One of the more important parts is when you're sitting in this left room, you want to stay here by this middle hallway. It's actually a good thing that the enemies see you, because then they will funnel through the middle. If you go over to like the left or the right door, the enemies will see you, and then they will actually want to go that way, and they'll enter through the sides, and that's how you get sandwiched. Instead, staying middle funnels everything to the middle. Sometimes, it's rare, but sometimes happen where the wyverns or overloads will sneak in the left or the right. So if you don't see the overloads or later on the pair of wyverns in middle, that means they could be sneaking in the left or the right, and you should check the side doors. But if you see them, the pair of 2 is always in middle, you're good to go. If you're on a stasis lock, by the way, this spot right here, where my mouse is, this is a fantastic spot to put your turret down, because then as everything gets funneled in, it just gets frozen and can slow the fight down a lot and make it very easy for you. I'm shooting my blind geo just for damage. Obviously, you can't blind champions, but of course, you get the champs coming in. If they push you too hard, this is where the rockets come in handy too for big burst damage. But the storm grenades just do so much work that they just die so easily. A couple goblins snuck in, not a big deal. Sometimes the goblins will sneak in, but that's not an issue. Now that you've dealt with all 4 overloads, the first 2 and then the second 2, now it's time for boss damage. So what I like to do is I like to come to left like this, and I will bait the boss to the left. By the way, you can't just throw storm nades at his shield, because on Titan, the storm nades move with the touch of thunder aspect, and it will just move through the shield and keep striking him anyways, so whenever my storm nade's up, I just keep throwing it on him, because it's still going to hit him anyways. Other points of emphasis, again, for Arbalest and Sniper users, with Anti-Barrier, you can shoot through his shield. So as long as he's facing you, feel free to just shoot right through his rotating shield and crit him in the face to speed up the damage phases. As well, if you're a hunter, hunters are probably going to be running tether on this GM. I don't really see why you wouldn't. Mobius Quiver tether is awesome to speed up the fight. Mobius Quiver, or really both tethers, passes through his shield. So when the boss looks at you and you're on tether, to speed up the fight, you can just shoot your tether through his shield. And because it's a Void Burn, the tether does even more damage than usual, and now he's debuffed for the rest of your ammo and your teammates' ammo and grenades and whatnot to speed up the phases really, really fast. We don't have a hunter on our team, so you won't see us do that because we are 2 Titans and a Warlock, so we mostly just, snipe them and we just spam our storm nades on them. But I'm not going to make any cuts, so you can really see what it's like here. You generally want to split your team up like this. This is why I stay on the left. I have my teammates go middle. That way he can only shoot at one team at a time. Because when he's shooting you, it's very hard to do damage because he shoots Void, as well as the Overloads and Wyverns. And with the Void Burn, they hit really, really hard. So you can't really damage him while he's damaging you. You pretty much just have to hide. But if he's shooting me, my teammates can shoot. Or if he's shooting my teammates, then I can shoot. So you can constantly see him turning back and forth because Belmont doesn't really know where to go. So see, you could see him shooting the floor here, so I know to wait. When I see him stop, I know he's looking back towards my teammates, and we just trade the aggro back and forth. Now he's shooting me, so I'll hide again. And it's just the same looping pattern. I wait till he stops, I know he's shooting my teammates, and I'll go back out and just shoot my scout through his shield because I have Anti-Barrier Scout on. And again, the aggro switches back, I'll go back out. And then eventually you'll threshold him and he will leave. When this happens, you should send your team to over here again to do the left spawn kill on the portal again, like I did the first time. Again, if you're doing the rocket strat like this is why the rockets are amazing, you could just insta-kill the Wyvern. As soon as it comes out, you just all shoot a rocket with Wolfpack rounds. That Wyvern is no longer alive. It dies that fast. Now and again, they spawn in pairs of 2. So there's 2 Wyverns, killing one immediately makes it much easier, because now there's only 1. And there it is, the Wyvern. And again, the mini-boss is back, but I'm going to blind him. Even if I hit his shield like this, it is blinding him. It's okay to hit him a little bit, you just don't want to damage him too much. And while he's blinded, you can just kind of shoot past him, throw storm nades and turrets over there, and just keep hitting him. Eventually the Wyvern will die. And then what you want to do, this is the way I do it. There's kind of 2 ways to do this. I like to do this better, to fight the 2 barriers at a time. But what you do is, while the mini-boss is just kind of wandering around, you can go deal with the anti-barrier hobgoblins. The reason I like to kill them from the right is using the stairs here, you can crouch and stand up, and you can kind of head glitch and to dodge the barrier shots. And again, you just want to pick them off by one. You know, throw your turrets by them to freeze them if you're on stasis, throw your storm nades on them, or fusion nades. Hunters can throw, like, weakening grenades. Boss comes up behind us, so I just blind him real quick. That way, he won't bother us. Well, I just focus blinding. I just let my teammates mostly do the damage, so that way we don't die to this guy. And then he'll die. And now this is the best part of the strike to grab ammo, because nothing's happening right now. Nothing will spawn until you damage the mini-boss. So I'm just kind of looking around for ammo. I do see a green brick, so I grab that. And then now that you're good on ammo, now it's time to go back to the mini-boss and again damage him to get the second spawn of wyverns. So we just, again, super just to speed it up and throw storm nades on him and stuff. You see Vex reinforcements inbound. Even when you see the Vex reinforcements inbound, it's good to just keep hitting the mini-boss until he leaves. That way you don't have to deal with him for a little while. Just make him leave the room entirely. And then you'll see that text pop up. The Transcendent Hydra takes to the void. He leaves. And now we have the 2 wyverns again, because it's always pairs of 2. And you get the 2 barrier hobgoblins, but you'll deal with them later. A little quick side note. The barrier hobgoblins, they will shoot you inside, but they cannot enter the room. Like, the barriers won't come in here. So that's why they're always the lowest priority. Like, wyverns and overloads or wyverns, whatever, are way, way more important. Because the barriers only kill you if you peek these doorways. So right now, you see what I'm doing here. Well, I said this earlier in the guide. But when I peek middle here, remember, I know the wyverns are spawning. I look. I do not see the wyverns. We stay middle to hopefully that they peek and see us and they come middle. But notice how I don't see them. This is what I said before. If you don't see them, you need to check the side doors. They're almost most likely sneaking up on you. If I wait a little bit longer, I still don't see them, so I go to check right. And there you go. There they are. They were sneaking up on us, and I caught them before they could do it. And again, I want to blind them immediately. When they're blinded, they won't do any teleports. They won't shoot. They won't really do anything. And again, don't worry about the barriers. Kill the wyverns. They are infinitely more threatening than the barriers, because they will just blink on you. They could do the dive attack or do the void damage. It's really painful. Now that both wyverns are dead, you do the same as before, and now you could deal with the barriers. Again, using this right side door is a lot better because you can stand up and crouch to dodge the shots. One of them is dead. And then the second one's going to go down now. And again, you have a couple seconds to quickly grab ammo again as these last 2 barriers die. And for the 3rd time, you can go to the left, do the portal spawn kill again. So me and my team head to left, and now it's the overloads now. And you do it the same way. You can like throw an arc nade to stun, or shoot a bow shot, divinity, whatever you're using to stun. And then again with the rockets, you could just very quickly nuke him. Or if you're doing div, you just put div on him in linear. Whatever strat you're using, that's up to you. But I like the rockets better. And now that 1 overload is dead, now there's only 1. On this wave, the mini Hydra is not here, so that makes this wave pretty easy. It's just 2 champs. No wyverns, no snipers, no nothing. It's just overloads, and we've already killed 1. So you just take your time with the other one. Just keep, shooting the Monarch on him and throwing nades and freezing them and, all that stuff. And he's dead. Finish off any remaining fanatics. And now it's back to boss damage again. Everything is dead, so we got to do boss damage to make the next wave spawn. To trigger the next wave, we have to get to the halfway point of his health bar. So looking at his health here, when he reaches like right here in the right there in the very middle, maybe around like the C and the E and Transcendent, right in the middle of this bar, from this bar to here, right in the middle, you actually stop damage and you get the second wave of the overloads. The game will tell you when it spawned. It will say on the left side, Vex reinforcements inbound. And when you see that, you just give up on damage and you go back inside for the overload. So you just keep shooting, and then you see that pop up there. Vex reinforcement inbound. You see the champion spawn. These are the final 2 overloads of the fight. Unfortunately, you cannot do the left hallway like spawn kill in the portal because the boss is out there and he will just kill you. So instead, you do the normal sit in middle and let the overloads see you to funnel them through middle. Once the overloads push in, of course, you want to stun them with grenades and bows and all that. Of course, if things ever get out of hand, this is what you have supers for, and you can always just use rockets if you need to, but as long as things aren't getting too out of control, you can mostly just grenade and bow and whatnot. And then now that everything is dead, you finish off this phase. Now you finish the bar that he is on. So again, I go back to left to bait as usual while my teammates are in middle. Again, I just see him pounding the ground here, so I know I can't peek. He'll just kill me. But if that means if he's shooting me, that means my teammates on the other side can hit him. He's just about there. There we go. And for the 4th time and final time, you could do the portal spawn kill again. Of course, like I said before, the overloads are done, so these are the wyverns again. We're just waiting for it to spawn, and we'll all shoot one rocket with wolfpack rounds. It's a very easy kill. There it is. Go back to middle, and of course, the mini-boss is now back. It's like the wave before you have the mini-boss, and assuming you've killed one like that, then you only have to deal with one wyvern like this. And again, I'm keeping both of them blinded. I just peek by the mini-boss because he's blinded, and do that. I guess one other little point of emphasis, the mini-boss here, he does not have a melee attack, so even if he's not blinded, he doesn't stomp. He'll only shoot. But that's why he's just wandering around, because he's blinded. So he doesn't even know what he's doing. And again, I'll just keep blinding him again so he won't kill my teammates while we work on this wyvern. The wyvern's blinded as well. That's why it's just kind of moonwalking and just wandering around because he can't see anything. I keep up the blind on the mini-boss, and the wyvern's done. And then now that you've killed both wyverns, now it's time to finally kill this mini-boss and get him out of the room. Again, you can snipe him through the shield, if you want to take it slow with bows and scouts and whatever you want to do, but you just got to kill this guy now. And there it is. Once the mini-boss dies, you get Vex reinforcements inbound. And it is time for the final 2 wyverns. You can't do the left spawn kill because the boss is out there. And these guys pushed up really fast here. That's why you want to have your blinding nade ready. Don't worry about the barrier champs because, of course, they can't come into the room, so they can only kill you if you peek. So they're low priority. One wyvern's dead. I didn't see if the other one died, so I came over here to right side to check, and I saw the text pop up there. That we got the points for it, so I knew they were both dead. And now it's time for the 4 barrier champs. It's best to stay here in middle because the boss is actually out in the room right now. But the boss, a lot of times I've noticed, gets stuck somewhere over on this left side because he doesn't see any players. The boss doesn't know where to go. So it's better to stay here in middle to deal with the 4 barriers at the end. And just call out which one you want to go for. Work as a team and just pick off one by one. Obviously, make sure you play the corners here so you don't get, like, triple, double, triple, quadruple snipe by all of them at once. And just, take your time. There's absolutely no rush. I kill the one in the back, and then we start working on this middle one. Sometimes they can be kind of annoying, and they teleport around. You'll notice there's one right here on this top right that likes to sit on the catwalk. It's best to kill him last, I've noticed, because when you start attacking him, he likes to then blink and then teleport to this ledge, and then you hit him again, he blinks to this ledge, and sometimes he stands on this ledge and then he walks backwards behind the corner of the wall here. So I find it's easier to do this guy last. Even though he's closer, I always like to kill the ones on the ground before I kill the ledge one, personally. But I guess it technically doesn't really matter. So you can see he already teleported above. And of course I got double sniped there, not a big deal. The boss comes over for a second. Because he finally realized where we were. But it's no big deal. If the boss ever does sit on your body too long, you can always just have a teammate go to a side door and shoot Belmont to, like, get his attention. Then he'll follow you over there so you can get a res. And that's what my teammate does. He just baits him to the right. And again, you just go back to the barriers once again. Bear is almost dead. And of course, there he is, doing that annoying teleport thing I was talking about. This is why I deal with him at the end. He just keeps going back and forth, rapid fire. And then once the 4 barriers are done, the strike is over. Nothing else spawns in. You just kill the boss. So any remaining rockets and linears and supers and all that, you could just use it on them because there's nothing else that spawns in. Again, no rush. Nothing else is going to spawn. Throw my nade, and I just super because strike's over. And there you go. Belmont is dead. Glassway, Platinum, Grandmaster completion, Season 18, Seas the Plunder. Completed. Now remember, as we end the guide here, of course, this is the way I do Glassway. You don't have to do it like this, but I wanted to just kind of give this walkthrough so people can at least see at least one strategy how to do it. Yes, I know you don't have to kill the barriers at the end of the video, and yes, I know there are other ways to do the room, so before you even take to the comments and say, oh, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do this? This is just the way I find the easiest when I do my help runs, when I help people clear these Grandmasters. Trust me, I know there are other ways. I've done this Grandmaster well over 100 times. And, yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. I will be bringing the other guides eventually, like Lightblade and all the other ones this season, so stay tuned for those. But that is Grandmaster Glassway. Peace.